Hello and welcome to Nan Loves Food. I am Ann here today in my home office. I decided to bring you in here because I have worked hard to make the right decision on an indoor gardening system, and I wanted to share that with you because there are a lot of thoughts that go into something like this before you make a big purchase, and this was a big purchase. These are a lot of money, and while you can start small, I don't do that. So I've been dying to get my hands in the dirt, but it is currently the end of January as I am filming this in Indiana, and I've had the itch to get out there and start planting things for about a month. And in Indiana, I can't even start my seeds until March inside, and I can't actually get my hands out in that dirt until the beginning of April. So I have a long time, and I'm just not willing to go that long without some kind of garden. I love my fresh greens. I love my fresh herbs. I love having those things on hand. And to me, that's one of those things that being able to go pull off a couple of sprigs of thyme from my garden and not have to go to the grocery store to get them is just such a huge convenience. Now, I have been in love with the concept of the indoor garden as long as I can remember. So I absolutely love Disney World. And if you've ever been to Epcot, there is a ride called Living with the Lands. And you get on this boat and they take you through this amazing hydroponic garden that they have at Disney World. And ever since I saw that, I am obsessed. I am in. I want one. And so this year, we're newly in 2021, but 2020 was a mess. 2021, we'll see how it goes, but it's not looking great so far. So I just decided it was time. It was time to go ahead and invest in one, to buy one. And there are a lot of options on the market these days. So I wanted to take you through my decision making and show you where I landed. So we're going to start this video with the computer. I'm going to screen share and show you the three main options I considered, what I considered about them and why. And then I'll take you over to the thing I bought. And it's so cool and I love it. So I feel like I made the right choice. So let me walk you through what we were looking at. So for me, this whole thing started with a video I saw on YouTube, as a lot of these things do for me. I'm an avid YouTube watcher as well as producer. So, that's where I get a lot of my inspiration for a lot of things. So one of my favorite YouTubers, Jen Chapin, if you're not following her, I highly recommend that you give her a follow, ended up with one of these garden systems, Gardyn. And I absolutely love the way this system looks. She is pretty. She comes with this beautiful base that's wood, and then there are pipes that grow up with hydroponic kind of pods, if you will, in there. And so you can just absolutely see all of your produce growing. Their website is beautiful. Their aesthetic is beautiful. Absolutely love the look of this thing. And so that was one that was in contention. So this gives you the option to grow peppers like jalapenos, little cherry tomatoes, sweet peppers, all of your greens, and then all of your herbs, which the herbs and the greens were the two things that are most important to me. So this definitely hit that nail on the head. And I think the presentation of this is beautiful. In Jen Chapin's video, she talks about how she actually keeps this in her dining room. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful thing to have in your dining room. So I was seriously considering this one and nearly just bought it without researching the other options because she had it, she loved it, and I thought it met all of my needs, which it did. But they are pricey, and when I went to go purchase one, they were out of stock, and so I was going to have to wait. And so that actually caused me to do a little bit more research than perhaps I would have otherwise. So the garden system is $8.99. So pretty pricey, like I said. And you can see here, today is January 23rd, and this doesn't ship until mid-February. So they are still selling a lot. Good for them, right? I'm thrilled for them. So we'll talk about these other options later, but this is option one, the garden system. I also looked at the AeroGarden situation. They have quite a few options, and I had looked at the little countertop AeroGardens in the past. I think it is hilarious that anybody would even joke about using your countertop space for something like this. Countertop space is far too precious to put a giant garden on top, but whatever, sure, fine. So I looked at this guy. It is also a hydroponic system in that there is not dirt that it grows in. It is mostly fed by water and nutrients in the water, as well as obviously the photosynthesis that comes from plants, how they do their thing. So this is fine. The issue that I had with this one is that you do have to have a surface to put it on. And that seemed not great to me, that I had to have a table or something. And I don't really have a spot that made sense for this. But I do like the price a whole lot better. I think it was $6.95 when I was looking at it, and has 24 pods, so 24 plants. So the garden actually grows 30 plants. So the 30 to 24, okay, that's a difference, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't live without it. The third option I considered is the Click and Grow, which, you know, I got my Ibotta plugin down here. If you are not using Ibotta, click my link in the description. You can get 5% back on your systems on a lot of these. So regardless of what you choose. So click my link and you'll get, I think, a $10 bonus. I don't know, whatever it is right now. You'll get a little something extra if you use my link. So this is the Smart Garden. Now, the Smart Garden 9 Pro must have come out since I purchased mine. I don't have that one. I just have the Smart Garden 27. So that is a 27 pod system as opposed to 24 and 30 with the Aero Garden and the Garden. So this one is pretty basic. They just have these systems. So you can buy one of these units or you can buy all three that comes with this shelf. The shelf and the 3 units comes in at $5.99, which is a pretty good price, all things considered here. It was actually the least expensive when I was shopping. So this one is really clean looking, like it's not invasive. To be honest with you, I don't think she's as pretty as the garden is, but she's not as ugly as the Aero Garden is either. So, you know, middle of the road, lower price. And the thing that made the decision for me, so this is ultimately what I ended up getting, is the Click and Grow system. And I have to say I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It looks just like the picture. The stand that it comes with is very sturdy. It hides the cords pretty well. And there's like a groove cut in each shelf so that each system just like plops right in there beautifully. But the ultimate deciding factor for me was the cleaning of these systems. So with the garden, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but like right along here is a seam. So to clean this thing, you have to lift this giant base up and scrub out this container here. And then each one of these like little thingies comes off and you have to wash them. So you don't have to do that every time, but holy cannoli, what a pain. So I am not looking for that much work in my life. And I think this is a pretty sizable tank here. So this is not going to be light. It's not going to be easy to do. And it's going to be a pain to get into all of these little pods to get that clean, which ultimately is really important when you're talking about a hydroponic system. So once I found out about cleaning this thing, I was like, okay, I'm done. So I don't know if we've talked about it here or not, but I have pretty serious back and shoulder issues. So lifting this honker off the base and trying to get her clean just really felt like a bad idea for me. So each one of these little doobies has to be taken off, and then you have to lift this. You have to lift this off the base and then take each one of these apart. So that felt like a really lot of work that I was not into, even though they are absolutely stunningly beautiful. The Aero Garden, I think, is reasonably easy to clean. It doesn't have that issue. But the Smart Garden is actually super easy to clean. So the Smart Garden 27 is actually just the 9 with times 3. So with the fancy shelving unit. So with this, this is pretty lightweight overall. You just take off the top, which has the light doobie attached. You lift that up and you can actually put this base in the dishwasher, which makes it super easy to clean. So one of the things about the garden that turned me off is that there's actually a membership program. And not that I inherently have a problem with them having a membership program. I just don't want to be reliant on paying them to be able to grow my food. That feels a little strange to me and kind of not like what I'm going for. So they certainly have a very wide selection of things, which is awesome. All these different greens that you can grow, mustard greens, watercress, lots of delicious things, herbs, and that's all very cool. But the way you get your pods is actually through their membership program. and you do not get to use some of the features of the system that you just paid $900 for without paying also for the subscription for the membership program. So without membership, you can do some of these things. You can monitor your water level and your lights. But what's really cool about this system, the tech of it all, is this app. So there's actually a smart assistant that will keep an eye on your plants for you. There are actually cameras that take pictures of the things growing, and they can actually advise you, like if you need more nutrients or you need more water or you need to move it or something like that so that it can grow optimally. I think that's very cool, but you do not get that unless you're paying them $29 a month. So that does include 10 cubes, which isn't a ton, especially if you're looking at a cost per cube situation. Obviously, that's only $3 or so. That's $3 or so per pod, which is a little pricey. And you don't get to use your vacation mode unless you're paying them as well. So it's like, I don't love that. And that's every month, whether you need more pods or not. The AeroGarden doesn't actually have a pod subscription service. So you can just go over to the AeroGarden website and purchase what you need as you need it. So I do particularly like that about the AeroGarden. The other thing about the garden is not only do they want you to sign up for their subscription, they give you a huge discount if you sign up for a year or 2-year membership. So when I was looking at making the purchase, when you take a $900 product and all of a sudden it turns out to $1,600, that's a huge difference in cost, absolutely enormous. But the $1,600 is inevitable if you're going to have it for 2 years and pay for the membership. You actually get a little discount that way. So that felt like a lot of money to grow lettuce. So I didn't love that about the garden system. So with the Click and Grow, there is also a subscription option, although you can buy the pods whenever you need them. But obviously they are smart and made the subscription process a lot more cost effective. So I am currently on the 1-month delivery. So I get a 9-pack times 2. So I get to pick 2 of the 9 packs in their store, and that breaks out to $1.99. Now it is my thought and belief that I will probably dial this back to every 2 or 3 months once I kind of get my groove going. But because of the way they put their packs together, I didn't quite get everything I wanted, and I want to be able to rotate a little bit more than what they gave me. They kind of have it set up for if you want to grow all of one thing in your system or in each of the levels of your system, and that's not what I want to do. I want to play a little bit more than that, especially with my herb garden. So this is nice. $1.99 a pod is reasonable to me. I don't think that's crazy. And they've got some really neat things. In my first order, I decided to go ahead and get an experimental pack. So that means I can use the seeds that I would put in my garden and it's just the pod. So it's an empty pod, which is great. So you'll see I've got some things growing in my experimental pods that did not come from this system, but that's great. I love the flexibility that I can do what I want there. I did get some mini tomatoes, which I'm very excited about. They look like they're so cute when they grow in. I got some wild strawberries. Now this is fascinating to me that this would even work, but it says it will, so we've got some growing. But if that is what my life looks like in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be thrilled. So we'll see. I would imagine that they're the very, very small, very sweet strawberries. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So like I said, I've got some herbs, I've got some lettuces growing, and I planted a couple of my own herb mixes, which you'll see, or a couple of my own herb seeds, which you'll see when I take you over there. So let's go ahead and go on over to the Click and Grow, and I will show you how she's going so far. So hello and welcome to our mudroom, which is where the Click and Grow lives in our house. I did try and put the Click and Grow in our dining room, and it was far too bright. So one of the things that the garden has going for it is because the plants are vertical, you can just have the light facing that way, kind of away from your eye. And this system, the lights are right here. So it's a little bright, but it's fine for our mudroom. It's really no problem. So I just wanted to show you, we've had this for it's been set up for 2.5 to 3 weeks now, and I'm absolutely thrilled with the progress. So one of the things that is so cool about these systems is because it is getting a perfect 16 hours a day of sunlight, and the perfect amount of hydration with water, they grow about 5 times faster than your average garden. So that's really cool in terms of like crazy plant growth very quickly. So I wanted to show you a little bit about the pods and how all this works. So the strawberries came to me like this. So this is the 9-pack. And just like the picture on the website, they're just these little K-cup looking pods of dirt. So these contain fertilizer, so there's no additional like liquid food that you have to add. So this is even more set it and forget it than a lot of the gardening systems out there. So I really like these. And there are strawberry seeds in this one, and the experimental ones just didn't have any seeds in them. So the 3 packs come like this. So you can see we've got another pack of tomatoes and another pack of lettuce. So when we're ready to turn these plants over, we'll just pop these bad boys in and it is all good there. With the experimental pods, I unfortunately had some issues getting seeds. If you've tried to order seed packages recently, you know there's a shortage, it is a total pain, there are shipping delays, everything is a mess, but be patient, friends. If you wait and you are successfully able to place an order, they will come eventually. So these are seeds that I ordered from Baker's Creek that went right into the Click and Grow. So I've got some chives and some oregano that I just put in when this came in the mail about 2 days ago. So obviously we don't have any germination on these yet, but just wanted to let you know that you can go ahead and plant your own. If you don't want to buy 9 packages, like 9 pods of oregano, which is a crap ton of oregano, and I don't want that much, I just want 1 pod. So buying your own seeds works really well if you're in that boat. So I'm fascinated by how this system works, and I just wanted to show you a little bit about it. Now, I've been letting my lettuce go crazy because I knew I was gonna film this video and I need to cull it. So I'll need to get down to 1 lettuce plant. But for now, I just wanted to show you how beautiful, see how gorgeous my lettuce is? I'm so proud of her. So how this works is there's just like a little sucker tube down here. So kind of like what you might have in a perfume bottle or something. So it's just a little tube with some fibers in there, and then it's wrapped in, maybe wrapped in plastic, I don't know. There are these little plastic pods, and then inside you just shove your little dirt pod and snap the lid on, and your plant will grow right there. So we will get to culling that once this video is filmed, but I did want to let you see just how much growth we've gotten in about 3 weeks, that's a lot of growth in 3 weeks. So I think we'll be harvesting lettuce. When I cull all of the lettuces, I will eat them. I will not just like throw them away. These are microgreens basically. So obviously the nutrition is there. So I might just pick them off and eat them, or I might throw them in a salad later. But either way, delicious, good nutrition. And one of my favorite things about this is that I will always have a head of lettuce ready for me. So when it is taco night or when it is pasta night, we need a salad, I'm just gonna walk over here and I will always have fresh lettuce that will never be slimy and bad because it is still alive and growing. Yeah, I'm pretty proud. Let me show you what I've got planted here. All right, so on the top row, we have the lettuce. I just went ahead and went with 6 of the plain lettuce pods. I did go ahead and label my little things here, but I only did 1. So anything over here that doesn't have a label is part of that. And then if it does have a label again, then it's not part of that section. So rather than doing a bunch of labels that said the same thing. So I did go ahead and use the restaurant style labels that dissolve in water. So when we go to change the plant, that will just wash away when I wash the pod, and we'll get to start over on that. But isn't the lettuce just so beautiful? So we've got lettuce that's very happy here. We have some endive or endive, depending on where you're from and how you like to pronounce things. It's interesting, this gives a weird shadow on camera. It doesn't really look quite like that in real life. So I've got some kale planted here. So these are my little kales. So excited to have those guys. Now down here, the basil came with the system. So we definitely have quite a few basil plants go in here, and I'm sorry the lighting is so weird, but that's kind of the deal with these things. The lighting is strange. I've got some parsley. So I have curly leaf parsley here and flat leaf parsley here. We've got thyme, dill, and then these are oregano and chives that I just got in from Baker's Creek. So those are in there. One thing that's really neat is when you have sprouts, or when the seeds have not yet germinated, you put this little cap on, and that just helps, I believe, keep the seed moist and keep everything, you know, safe in there together. But once they've started to germinate, you just lift the pot up and you just store it. So we just got the lid off of this guy not too long ago, and we'll wait until he germinates to get that done there. So down at the bottom are my experimental things. So I don't know how well you can see down in my little holes there, but those are itty bitty baby strawberries down at the very bottom there. So they're just little guys, but darn it, they're doing the thing. So very excited to see how that goes. And then over here I have 3 tomato plants. All right, so there are the tomato plants. All right, so that's everything I've got growing there, and I am super excited. Moving forward, I'm not sure how many tomatoes or strawberries I will keep going in this thing on any sort of regular basis. For me, the time to harvest is a little too long with those things. I would really prefer to have a good rotation of lettuces and herbs because that is my priority. And obviously this summer, my outdoor garden will be producing an incredible amount of tomatoes. So the last thing I'll want to do is have this in here. I did want to say, if you're curious about why I decided to go ahead and do this, even though I've got the outdoor garden, other than the seasonal gardening situation, I will say in terms of harvesting lettuce and herbs grow very close to the ground, and that makes them very, very dirty, which is a total pain in the tuchus to wash and to prep and to clean. Like, you really have to clean them. You know how it says like triple washed on the bag of lettuce that you buy at the store? There's a reason. You really have to wash it 3 times. So by having a system like this, everything that's coming out of my planter is clean. So I really won't even need to give it a rinse, especially with the more delicate lettuces like the butter lettuce and things like that, which are the things that I absolutely love to harvest in my garden. It's really hard to get them clean and not break them or hurt them. So having this is gonna help me. I will keep this going all summer, even when I've got my garden going outside, because this is gonna make sure that I don't have to spend my entire life cleaning greens from my garden. Now, I will still grow some green things out there, probably grow some like mustard greens and kale and that sort of thing for my spring and fall gardens. But if I'm gonna cook it and it's a sturdier green, I feel differently than these delicate little butter lettuces that will just disintegrate because they're so delicate. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it was a lot of information. It's probably a very long video at this point, but I just wanted to take you through the process of how I made the decision to go with this guy and why I think it's pretty great. So I didn't say this before, but this is not a sponsored video. This is just what I decided to buy because I wanted one. So if this video helps you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for more content about easy weeknight meals, of which lettuce will be a part of them, please do subscribe. We would love to have you as part of our YouTube family. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll see you later. Bye.